Hello and welcome to Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver, and today joining me are my very special guests, the man who trains harder than anybody in professional wrestling, currently the SPCW Heavyweight Champion, NWA JCP's Openweight Champion, Mr. Tyler Shoop is back with us today. Also joining me at this time is the Doctor of Destruction, the man who can dissect anyone just by looking at him, the former SPCW Heavyweight Champion, the man most deserving of a rematch of that SPCW title, the Doctor of Destruction himself, Dr. Joe Briggs is here. Gentlemen, how are y'all doing tonight?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you for having me on. And once again, it looks like you've been training harder too. It looks like you've continued to continue to commit to the routine. I appreciate that. The one correction there, also, NWA JCP Tennessee Stud Champion now.
That's right. They did change the title, so I do apologize about that. National Wrestling Alliance and National Wrestling Alliance, Joe Kazana Promotions.
Same lineage. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for having us on. Me on.
You're absolutely welcome. Gentlemen, are you ready? My fans and myself have some questions for you tonight.
More than ready.
All right, the first question is going to be for you, Mr. Shoop. Since winning that SPCW Heavyweight Champions, it seems as if you've been too busy to defend it with your current schedule. But on November 9th, we know both of you will be at the Battle of Burton 2 in Norton, Virginia. This will be your first time seeing each other face-to-face since winning that title. Can you focus on your match and not let the Doctor of Distractions cost you one in Norton, Virginia?
I think I'll be more than focused. Marty Clay's no slouch. Marty Plain is no slouch. The Doctor, he outdid himself here. He made himself a good first-time ever matchup against two of the best athletes, honestly, probably in the Southeast. And we're going to go out and I'm not going to sit here and act like Marty Plain ain't an athlete himself. He ain't physical himself. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be an athletic showcase. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be real obvious who trains harder.
Dr. Joe, you have been patiently waiting for the opportunity to get your hands back on Tyler Shoop ever since losing that SPCW Heavyweight Championship so many weeks ago. Can you take us back to when you lost that title and what you felt and how you're feeling now, sir?
Well, first of all, I'm starting to regret letting you pay me to be on this podcast because let's be honest, the only way that I'm ever going to do anything like this, especially with that guy sitting over there, is if I'm paid to do it. And you know, Joe, you're kind of like a foot fungus. You grow on people, and sometimes I have that even for myself. But Tyler Shoop, no, let me put this in a way that anybody can easily understand, especially with somebody with the limited vocabulary of Mr. D1 athlete over here. Ironically enough,
Penn State, where'd you go?
I didn't have to go anywhere, son. I went to the school of Hard Knocks, something you don't know anything about yet, but you're going to.
No, you had Hard Knocks pizza the last 2 weeks, not every night. There's a difference.
Yeah, well, I eat pizza and look like I do. You act like you look great. But the fact of the matter is the only thing that makes you look great is that title on your shoulder. The only thing that you've actually earned since you've been in this business. But let me answer the question, Mr. Train Hada, because you love to interrupt people. Let me do my thing right here, watch and learn. So you want to know how I felt?
Yes, sir.
SPCW is my home. Believe it or not, as much as I can't stand management sometimes, as much as, things get on my nerves, as much as Rebecca Lynn and I talk about how things can be better or worse, it's been my home for a long time because they gave me a chance. And then we have guys like this right here. He earned it. I'll give him credit where credit's due. He earned it. He pinned me to the mat. He won 1, 2, 3. I mean, of course, he needed a referee being biased, throwing Rebecca Lynn out. He needed all those things. But he won the championship fair and square. He beat me for that title. That killed me inside. Because I am SPCW. Now, there are going to be some guys that tell you that they are. But that's me. I don't go here. I don't go there. I don't take the title and run off to Texas. I don't go to Nashville. I don't go to all these different states. Yeah, kudos to you, Shoop. I guess that's supposed to be something that's a badge of honor. But the fact of the matter is the SPCW championship should be defended. And the person who did that every single event, and Joe, you can attest to this, is myself. So you and AJ Kazana and all these guys traveling the world and taking the belt with you and saying, hey, I've defeated this 3 times in the past 65 days. You think that's a badge of honor? No. That's disrespectful to that championship, and it's only a matter of time before it comes back. So enjoy it while you've got it, because, yes, I have felt for a long time like it's something that I can't get over. And seeing that on your shoulder, around your waist, even though you are a premier athlete, even though you went to Penn State, even though you were a football player, even though you've got every right to say everything that you did, much to my chagrin, I'm taking it back. Because you're not Southern pride. I am. Simple as that.
Well, Mr. Shoop, it seems like Dr. Joe is so engulfed with regaining what some would consider to be rightfully his. Do you think he's forgetting about what's coming right in front of him November 9th at the Battle of Burton in Norton, Virginia with RT3, your friend, sir?
I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I was distracted when you said some may consider rightfully his. Even Joe admitted right there that I pinned his shoulders to the mat fair and square. And I'm very confident no matter what the situation would be, I could do that again. But back
How
to
many
the
times did you
about
lose?
Joe Briggs' matchup this Saturday. He's facing a guy, RT3, the hometown boy. And Joe's got the odds stacked against him there because that might be Joe's hometown, but the energy and the people there are going to be for Joe. And the crazy thing is, that doesn't psych him out at all. And I look at him. He's not psyched out at all. He walks into the SPCW Sportatorium every time knowing that those people in the crowd want nothing to do with him, don't want him as a champion, don't want him to be successful. But he still goes out there and delivers with intensity and physicality every single time and demands success from the people that he surrounds himself with. Joe Briggs came back. I'm not sure quite how long Joe Briggs had taken a break from SPCW. But when I started back there a little over a year ago, he was not there. And it would have been easy for him to take a little bit longer break because that was a really hot time for SPCW. Me coming through. KC Kazana, another young talent, making his mark at SPCW, making his mark in the Southeast. Joe Briggs decided to come back when we were starting to get hot. And that's actually why I respect him. He could have decided to stay while the talent wasn't as hot. He could have competed against guys he knows he could beat. He knows he's better than. But Joe Briggs looks for competition. And that's why when he came back, he didn't immediately align himself with the Stu crew. He went to battle with the Stu crew multiple times, and they earned each other's respect. And that's when he said, you guys can't do this alone. I can't do this alone. They put themselves together and became the most powerful thing that SPCW has had all year. And the odds are stacked against me every single time I go out to the ring now. Even with the SPCW fans cheering my name, chanting Shoop Trains Hada. But I've said for a long time that making SPCW the best professional wrestling in the Southeast is my goal. And even if I'm not there defending it every single time, it doesn't mean I'm not proud to make this my home and the best wrestling in the Southeast. I'm bringing this championship with me no matter where I go, and I show what we have to offer. And I am the top of the crop. And until Joe Briggs beat me, Joe, you are not the heart and soul of SPCW. I am.
Dr. Joe, Tyler Shoop makes a great point here with RT3. He is not a person you want to underestimate in any way. He is deadly, precise, vengeful, and downright a hoss in that ring. Will you be able to keep your focus knowing your most precious title and absolute best rival is going to be in the same building as you November 9th?
Oh, see, that's where you've got everything wrong. Underestimating, you're talking like RT3 is somebody that I don't know. You see, I know RT3 10 times better than I know Tyler Shoop, and I know Tyler Shoop pretty well. Let me make something clear. He said a lot of things there that made sense, a lot of things that I should appreciate. And if I respected him more than I do as a person, then I would probably appreciate it more. But there is one thing that he said that rings true. He talked about Norton, right? Talked about
yes,
no
sir.
support. Talked about how everybody's in RT3's corner and I don't sweat it. You want to know why I'm like that, Shoot? You want to know why I'm like that? I'll tell you exactly. exactly the why I do not care. Do you know how long the odds have been stacked against me? You talk about odds being stacked against you and me stacking the Stew Crew deck and everything else. The Stew Crew made that choice to come with me because they were tired of fighting me, and to be quite frank, I was tired of fighting them too. But the mutual respect was there, just like you said. But here's the deal. I've been fighting that long before you ever came into the picture. There's a lot of people. And you look in my eyes when I say this because you probably know it's true deep down. There's a lot of people that told me that I couldn't do this. There was a lot of people that said, you know, Joe, I don't support you. I'm going to laugh in your face. And that's exactly what they did. All of them. People here in Norton, people here in Wise, people in surrounding areas that you know nothing about, but it's the same everywhere I go. People has laughed in my face for various reasons. Why? Well, I didn't look like Tyler Shoop. I didn't look like RT3. I didn't look like KC Kazana, or I didn't look like any of those people who work hard. No. Don't get me wrong. People think it's sour grapes when I say things like that. They think it's, you know, he's jealous of the way the guy looks. No. I'm actually proud of you, Shoop. Wow. Really? You don't think I'd say that? I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the way you look. I'm proud of the way RT3 looks. I'm proud of everything that you guys have been able to do and the opportunities you've got because of it. I'm not saying that you don't work hard. I do too. But because I don't have the poster boy look, because I'm bald, because I had to lose 100 pounds to get where I was, that I don't belong there. People's told me from day one that I didn't belong. So I scoff. I look at them just like I look at you, just like I look at RT3, and I'll say this. You guys have never been able to outwork me no matter how good you've looked, no matter how hard you've tried, no matter how many times you've hit the gym, no matter how many times you've stepped in the ring because you want to know the truth and you know this to be true because you've done it yourself. You guys look at me and say, hey, Joe, how can I get better? What can I do? Well, I'm going to show you. When I get the chance, I'm going to show you exactly how you can get better because you know I've got it here and I can move and I can do it just like you can. So I'm going to prove to RT3 as well, my oldest nemesis, by the way, a guy that I saw brought up from day one, the guy that's taking credit for Norton and for all these things around here. I'm going to blister him. I am going to drop him. I am going to win his championship. I'm going to outsmart, outwork, outwrestle, and do everything better than him in front of everybody. And then I'm going to rub it in their face and say, guess what? Big man over here couldn't do it. And I'm going to say the same thing to you when I get my chance. That's what it's about. That's why I do it like I do it. That's why it never bothers me. Because you guys can't handle me at my best. And you haven't seen it yet. You haven't seen it yet. You think I'm smart now. You think I'm good now. The chip on my shoulder is 10 times wider than it was a month ago, a year ago. Every time I've come back from injury, and I've had plenty. I don't know how much longer I've got left, but I've got enough left for you. And I've got enough left for
Joe, you talk about a chip on your shoulder. You act like I don't got a huge chip on my shoulder. Like I just got everything handed to me. You know what my goals are. You know where I want to be. You know I want to be at the top of this sport of professional wrestling. Let's call a spade a spade. I'm sure you want to be there too. And what are they looking for right now down where we want to be? College athletes who work hard, are coachable, wrestle with intensity, like rabid animals, that can talk, that have the star look. Division I background. A history of family coaching in my life. A history of winning championships. And I'm still out each and every week, making the towns, making the trips, when there are guys that just got a call because they got a ton of followers on social media and they're down there right now. So if you don't think I got a chip on my shoulder and there's a reason I don't train hard and try to look as good as I possibly can so I stand out on every single show that I compete on, then you don't know me as well as you say you do, Joe.
Mr. Shoop, the Doctor of Destruction, always has a plan. We have seen he is always 2 and 3 steps ahead of all of his competition, no matter who it is. Do you think you've given him enough time to do his research, watch the footage, calculate his mistake so he never makes it again, and regain that SPCW Heavyweight Championship?
Like I said, I have a ton of respect for Joe. He's very cerebral. He's game manager. I compared him to freaking Peyton Manning a couple months ago. I mean, the man knows his way around the ring. He knows how to win, and he's going to be prepared for every single matchup. It's never going to be an easy matchup when you step in the ring with Joe Briggs. He is physical and he's intense from bell to bell. You see the way he walks out. No nonsense. No BS. Oh my God, almost got me there. No BS. All business from bell to bell. But against me, he's been unsuccessful. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to keep training harder. So you are never taking this thing off of my shoulder, Joe Briggs.
Dr. Briggs, would you like to respond?
SPCW some of the best professional wrestling in the entire country, not just the Southeast, and it's going to be on my back.
Unsuccessful. Against you. See, I don't know if all the hits to the head playing footballs gave you amnesia or something else. I've been successful against everybody, especially you. Look at how many times it took you to beat me. Now, I know what you're going to say. Oh, you had help. Oh, you did this. Oh, you did that. All those are excuses, son. That's not how this business works. You want to talk about business and chip on your shoulder? Stop thinking with your body, because it is great. And you are a phenomenal athlete. That's why you hold that championship. That's why you're everywhere. That's why, even though I hated it, I told the management of this show at Battle at Burton to call you and say, hey, Shoop, come here. Because I knew. Right here, Shoop. I've outsmarted you at every single turn. You've got one match on me. 9 times out of 10, what's happened? You've lost. Period. And you're going to lose again. Because, yes, I can't compete with a lot of what people like you are. But when it comes down to it, you guys can't compete with this because you don't know how. And I'm going to show you again. So all this success you've had, the one time, and it was the ultimate one, because look what you've got. You've got the Holy Grail. But since you want to make sports analogies, what's the hardest thing, Shoot? Is the hardest thing becoming the champion, or is it staying the champion? Because you don't know anything about that. But that's okay, because it's a lesson you're going to learn off somebody else, because you're not going to learn it from me. I'll show you. Because when you win championships, you're going to lose championships eventually. The key is winning them back, and I do that better than anybody.
Gentlemen, the fans want to know when and where this is going to take place.
Well, I received information that I'm not going to announce who, but I did find out who my opponent and my first challenger for the SPCW Championship will be next Saturday night. So it will not be Joe Briggs. But there's a little tradition in East Tennessee, in La Follette, Tennessee, in the SPCW Sportatorium. There's a little tradition every Thanksgiving. Every Thanksgiving, the biggest show of the year, biggest event in town. Arguments, disputes are all settled in the middle of a ring, surrounded by a ton of steel. Last year, I was successful in defending my American Championship against Casey Kazana on Thanksgiving. And this year, I'm laying it down right now. Shoop trains harder to be successful and defend this championship at Cage Aggression 6 on Thanksgiving against you, Joe Briggs, if you accept my challenge. A steel cage. So Rebecca Lynn can't be right there reaching for me. The Stu Crew can't be involved. Me and you locked inside of a steel cage. No distractions. Just intensity between us two.
Dr. Joe, now the challenge has been laid out for SPCW. Will you be training harder for Mr. Shoop to regain that heavyweight championship?
Well, first of all, as the former champion, I can exercise a rematch anytime I want.
That is true.
But see, here's the deal. He keeps using this word, intensity. Do you not know that that's what I'm known for? And are you sure that you want to be locked in the cage with that? Because you're misconstruing the fact that I need this person and I need that person. Rebecca Lynn's the greatest manager in the professional wrestling business, and she knows it. I know it. Everyone knows it. She knows exactly what she's doing. You think a cage is going to stop her if she needs to? She's going to stand right there because I'm going to accept your challenge because you're being locked in the cage now. And again, don't you think this is what I wanted you to ask for? See, that's the problem. That right there is the issue. You think you win all the time. But what you just did was give me exactly what I want. Exactly what I want.
Joe, there's been plenty of times you've walked away, you say you're successful. You've walked away successful. I failed. How many times have you pinned my shoulders to the mat? And now that we are stepping inside of a cage, there's no rules. Joe, you're going to have to damn near put me out if you think that you're finally going to pin me inside of a steel cage with no rules on the biggest show of the entire year with everything to me on the line.
Really? Success, huh? You see, that's where you and me define success in two different ways. You think winning's all about pinning somebody. Let me ask you this. How many times did Dylan Stewart beat me?
That's a little rough there, Mr. Briggs.
How many times did Zach Stewart beat me? They beat me. But you didn't understand what the ultimate goal was. They did. Eventually, they figured it out. It didn't matter how many times they beat me, I kept coming back. And it didn't matter how many times they had these little altruistic motives, like you keep talking about. Nobody cared. It's about what have you done for me lately? Yeah, you won the title last month, but who cares about that now? Nobody but you. I don't care. The Stu Crew doesn't care. The Stu Crew are my best friends now because they understood that nobody in this business cares about them at all, no matter what they do. I won. They won. And on Thanksgiving night, you talk about pins, you talk about wins. I beat you several times over. A win's a win. Doesn't matter how it gets there. Doesn't matter what somebody thinks about it. Doesn't matter how it happens. So keep that in mind when you keep talking about intensity in a cage. What's going to happen? How's it going to go down? Because there's many ways I can beat you, but when it comes to that little head of yours, the only way you know that it can happen is if I pin Joe Briggs to the mat. Good luck.
Tyler, you set the challenge.
I don't make the same mistake twice. Ever.
Tyler, you set the challenge as a fighting champion. I myself and my fans are looking forward to seeing this match. Are you concerned, since he brought it up, about the Stu Crew sticking their noses where it doesn't belong to shift the balance of power in the favor of Dr. Joe winning this match?
Concerned is not the word I would use. Aware, of course. Prepared, certainly. As long as they've been on the show, they've been involved with the match. I'd be an absolute fool to not expect them to try to somehow get into that cage. I'd like to see Zach try to climb his way in. I'm sure Joe's going to have an awesome game plan set up for them to somehow get involved and assist him. But no, I'm not concerned. I'm looking forward to it. More of a challenge. Like I said, Joe is going to have to damn near put me out if he thinks he's walking away with my SPCW championship inside of a cage. I said I'm not going to make myself look like a fool when I gave up my American championship to challenge him for this. I'm not going to look like a fool by challenging him to a steel cage match and putting my championship, my pride and joy on the line.
If you weren't a fool, you wouldn't have made that challenge to begin with.
Dr. Joe, the fans call you Sloppy Joe, the doctor of cheating. Are you going to have any surprises waiting at bay for Tyler Shoop the 16th of November?
Sloppy Joe. Yeah, it's a funny thing to me that the guy that started that whole mess, he can barely bend over and tie his shoes without his head exploding. So I don't pay any attention to what anybody has to say about me. Don't care anything about that, Joe, and I'm ashamed that you would bring that up. You're going to have to pay me more now because I don't like stuff like that. I don't like being made fun of. But I will say this. Any surprises for Shoop now? Why? Why would I have any surprises for Shoop in his first title defense? It's his moment. I'm going to let him have his moment because truth is, he's earned it. This time, he's earned it. But he's only got 2 weeks after that. 2. So don't ever say, Shoop, that I never respected anything that you ever did because you got it. That's bought you a little time. But just know, time's up very soon. So give thanks over Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving night, you won't be thanking anybody else for anything.
Mr. Briggs, there have been a lot of people saying if you don't have the Stew Crew by your side, you will not ever win that SPCW Heavyweight Championship again. What do you have to say about this?
Interesting. Did I have the Stew Crew when I defeated Octavius Black for the SPCW Heavyweight Championship?
No, sir, you did not.
Did I have the Stew Crew at my back when I broke my foot and had to relinquish the title because I couldn't walk, only to come back and win it again?
No, sir, you did not.
Did I have the Stew Crew any time before that when I stepped into the ring with, names like, JDL, Elliot Russell, Matt Sigmund, all these guys that was supposed to be better than me? Did I have the Stew Crew then?
No, sir, you didn't. But we see how tight you are with the Stew Crew, Mr. Briggs. But you have somebody in your corner that we forgot to mention as well that has made some trouble for other people and has been involved in those matches. The international heartthrob herself, Rebecca Lynn. She always seems to have the healing touch, so to speak, the medicine that causes all the medical problems for those that you rival. What would you say to that?
Let me tell you something about Rebecca Lynn. Rebecca Lynn doesn't take any of the shine from me. She never has. That's the reason she's not sitting right here with me right now. Rebecca Lynn is the greatest manager in professional wrestling. And believe it or not, there's a lot of guys who could benefit from her mind, but they walk straight past her when they go to these dressing rooms, locker rooms, because they're afraid of her. They're afraid of what she might say, and then they don't respect her. But what you just said is exactly why she should be respected. She's been doing this longer than me. She's forgotten more about this than most people's ever going to learn. That's the reason she's so much trouble. Her presence is trouble. She doesn't have to do anything. But for all those people saying Rebecca Lynn's the reason that you've won, let me ask you this, Joe. When you look in the record books, and Shoop, you can answer this too because you're a sports guy. When you look at the record books, does it say, hey, if this team wouldn't have fumbled on the 1 yard line, the other team would have won? No. The guy who threw the pass almost got it intercepted, bounced right off the defender's hands, only for the next pass to go for a touchdown. Was that in the record books? No. The W was the win. That's all anybody's going to remember. So, yes, Rebecca has helped give me advice. She's aided me in a game plan. She's at times she's calmed me down out there, but she's never done anything she's not supposed to.
Like, keep her hands to herself.
But even if she did, does it matter?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. And so, Mr. Shoop, you have been on the receiving end of many of Miss Rebecca Lynn's prescriptions. Do you think it's time that you get someone to have your back to be an equalizer, such as, but not limited to, like Sam Street?
Sam Street. Sam Street. It's Saturday. She's taking on Rebecca Lynn. I forgot about that. So Rebecca Lynn is wrestling this Saturday in Norton, Virginia. Excuse me, Battle Burn 2. Sorry, you threw me off there because I was thinking. Usually, I've been kind of riding solo recently. Like, as a spotter, I had Max for the longest time, but Max and I have gone our separate ways, and I'm proud of some of the things he's been able to do on his own as recently, since we've kind of cleared the air on certain things. But as of right now, no. Shoop continues to fly solo, and I will, because recently I've been having some success. And I know you're only as good as your last match. And my last match was a victory against you, Joe Briggs. So in a couple weeks, I look forward to the same thing, because like I said, this thing ain't going nowhere. I don't need someone standing ringside for me. I do all my battles on my own. I do all the battle during the week in my preparation for the match. I don't need a spotter ringside anymore.
Would you like to respond, Dr. Joe?
Sam Street is a highly capable competitor. Everybody knows that. One of the fastest growing women in the business. And not only that, she has it here. That's what a lot of people don't get. Most people don't pick up on that. Shoop is getting there. Even as the champion, he's still not there yet. Rebecca Lynn stepped into that match because she didn't have an opponent. And people was calling her out saying, oh, she's just a manager. She can't do anything anymore. Well, there's a lot of people about to find out that that's not the case at all. But as for you needing a spotter, well, shoot, there was a time back in the day when I didn't think that I needed anybody's advice and everything either. And one of these days, you're going to find out that some things you just can't do on your own. And beating me is one of those. Beating me is one of those. Last time you had a referee throwing people out, big Shoop fan, well, that was your spotter. But inside the cage, it's not going to help you at all.
That's where you're wrong, Joe. I'm going to stop you right there, Doc. That's where you're wrong. You're all right, the more that I think about it. I'm not going to be alone. I do need some help. You know what I need? The energy of the SPCW Sportatorium that reminds me every time I step into that ring that Shoop trains harder.
You know who else used to say that they needed that energy?
Who,
The
Joe?
Stoop Crew.
And look what's happening. Where's their tag team championships right now?
Coming home very soon. You know, they've had that. How many times they had that championship, Joe? Because I've lost count.
It's been a lot. At least 4 times that I know of in the past year.
And Zach Stewart's been the SPCW Heavyweight Champion too, correct?
Yes, sir, he has.
Okay. So let's not talk about the Stu Crew successes and failures. Because just like you, they're competitors and they will come back and they're going to win those championships, and I'm going to win it from you. That's on Thanksgiving night. But Joe, I'm kind of disappointed in you, considering this little rapport we've had here. We've only mentioned Battle at Burton 2 once. One time. That's all we. That's all.
2 or 3. I don't think he can count very well. He's from Burton, so or North.
Well, that was very
me?
interesting that you pulled that up because I was actually just about to ask Mr. Shoop about it. I really think that you've offended the Doctor of Destruction's friend, Mr. Marty, by claiming that you train harder than anyone in the business. And he seems to be wanting to make this really, really personal November 9th. What do you have to say about this?
I'm afraid I made this personal enough when I called him out on Instagram the other night. See, Marty, I mean, like I said, I talked about him already. I don't think you're going to find 2 finer athletes in the Southeast going at it. But I'm going to, like I said, I'm not going to slow it down. If you want to go find my Instagram video, you want to go find my Facebook, I'll plug that at the end. You can go find that. But it's no different with Marty Clay. It's no different with Joe Briggs in the ring. You can't keep up with the routine. Nobody can. I outwork every single person I step across from. There's nobody out there that matches my intensity, matches the energy each and every single time. So Marty Clay is going to be no different. I don't care if I've offended you. If you're upset because I told you that I train harder than you and I outwork you, it's probably because it's in your own mind that you know that it's true. And it's going to be very apparent on Saturday night how true it is.
Dr. Briggs, would you like to respond to this for your friend, Mr. Marty?
Well, first of all, I didn't go to Burton. I went to J.J. Kelly High School, which is now Central, which is Burton's arch nemesis. Burton is trash. And I'm going to show Burton that
I'll
they're
agree
trash.
with you on that for this one.
I'm going to show Burton that they're trash Saturday night. But as it pertains, yes, and I'm talking to you, Roy Thacker III, you're trash too. And you're not going to do anything about it. You're not even watching this because you don't want anything to do with me. That's all show. That's all blowing smoke. But when it comes to Shoop and Marty Clay is not my friend. Don't like Marty Clay. Couldn't care less about Marty Clay. Don't care how hard he trains. Don't care how hard he lifts. Don't care how hard he does his backflips and his up downs and everything trying to impress
Waste
everybody.
of energy, like by the way.
Kind of like this one does over here. But here's the deal. Let's just call a spade because I can acknowledge this. The reason that these two were my choice and the choice of a few others, even RT3, because he was ass. The reason that these two were the choice to go up against each other is because they are the premier athletes in the Southeast. Simple as that. That man right there can't stand it, but he's the SPCW Heavyweight Champion. And he's traveled all over the country, making a name for himself. Marty Clay has been around just a little bit longer, but he has never been in the shape that he is now. And he's never been as dangerous as he is now. Because I've stepped in the ring with him, Joe. You saw that. And you know how good he is. You know the things he can do. These two in the ring right here are what wrestling is supposed to be. Period. The people that you will see at John I. Burton, let's just go ahead and put all the other stuff to the side because this is me talking, completely organic right now, especially these two. You're going to see wrestling, the way wrestling is supposed to be. Two athletes going in there competing with respect for the professional wrestling business in front of a lot of people. And that's created a lot of jealousy around here. But the reason it has is because of guys like that. And they're going to go knock it out of the park. They're going to go slugfest. They're going to fly around. They're going to show everybody why they're the best. And that's why they're on the show. That's why they're on the event. Like them or not, RT3 loves them. I can't stand none of these people. But I acknowledge what they can do. And on Saturday night, you're going to see. There's not going to be a better match than these two. Marty.
I can't agree more with that. Would you like to respond to that, Mr. Shoop?
I think he hit the nail on the head right there. And there's one thing that Joe Briggs and I can agree on. It's that RT3 is a big dummy. And I could care less for that guy as well.
Just tell us how you really feel, sir.
I mean, remember when I just keep talking about the other night when I was saying when I rose again in victory on Easter Sunday against RT3. Remember the first championship last year at SPCW, actually, I beat RT3 right in the middle of the ring. So this weekend, I'm expecting a warm reaction from the Northern Virginia fans, knowing my history with RT3, and I'm looking forward to finally getting to see them all face to face and remind them that I'm better than their hometown boy.
Well, we touched on this a little bit earlier, Dr. Joe, but I personally think that RT3 is going to be a tough match for you. He's got the fame, he's got the success, he's got the notoriety. Everybody loves him from that area. He's got all the fans. It seems that he's got it in such a small amount of time, too, gaining this success so early on in his career. Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
You want to know where he got that success from?
Sure.
You think it was him? You think it was him? I could go on all night, but I'm going to try to keep this short since we've been going almost 45 minutes. I told you earlier, and I'm throttling right now since you had to bring that up. Yeah, Shoop and I can agree. We don't like RT3. I can't stand RT3 because I feel betrayed by RT3. And I hope he is listening to this right now because I want him to know exactly how I feel before I dismantle him in front of everybody on Saturday night. Boy, do you remember who you used to be? Now you're this prodigy. You're this hometown hero. You're this capable athlete, strong, moralistic as can be, somebody that everybody can get behind. But that's not who you used to be. You used to be the kid walking up to me going, hey, anything I can do to get better. I know you don't like people like me, but please, just tell me. I would tell you to get away from me. And then you just kept coming up to me, hey, help me out, please, please, please. And you know what? I couldn't help it. There was something about you. Big RT3, big jacked up kid that I just couldn't turn away. So I finally started helping. But now as times went along, I gave you that much credit with me. I did. I didn't give anybody else around this stinking, trashy, garbage of a town any hope, any advice, any nothing. I told them to leave me because they all laughed at me. But you, I took you in. And then what did you do? You didn't give me any credit for anything. None. Just like everybody else. No credit at all. No respect. Oh, Joe, yeah, he's all right, but I'm better. You know how many times I've heard that? So, Roy, because I'm going to call you Roy, because you don't live very far from me. It's been hard for people around us here to keep us apart. But Saturday, that isn't happening anymore. Because I'm going to thrash you, embarrass you, destroy you, make you wish your mom wasn't there. Make her wish that she didn't give birth to you. I'm going to beat you that bad in front of everybody who loves you. And I'm going to prove a point this Saturday at Battle at Burton 2. And it just so happens that when I do that, I'm going to win the SOM Heavyweight Championship. And then I'm going to walk in there, a place I haven't been in years. And it's going to be mine. Your dignity, your honor, your respect, everything is going to be mine. I'm not there to just take a championship. I'm there to take a town down. And it's hero along with it. And then you and Shoop can agree after that when I'm holding both championships. And maybe you guys aren't as good as you think you
Very strong words from a very strong man. My final question is for both of you. I want to start with you, Mr. Shoop. Where and when can we see you at your next bookings, and what can we expect to see, sir?
Well, I think we've talked about it a few times now. This Saturday night in Norton, Virginia, you can find me at Battle of Burton 2. I said it the other day. It's a roster full of some of the best young talent in the Southeast. Management did a phenomenal job of putting some guys out there that are deserving of opportunity, deserving of getting some eyes on them on a bigger stage. Following that, the following Saturday, I'll be back home in the SPCW Sportatorium, defending this SPCW Heavyweight Championship against an opponent I am very, very familiar with. I've already mentioned a couple times on this podcast, but I'm not going to tell you yet. You're going to have to wait on that. But it's going to be good. The following week, you can find me in we're going to skip ahead to that one. Following week, we'll skip a week. There'll be Thanksgiving in between there. And then at the end of the month, wrapping it up in Nashville, Tennessee, one of my favorite places outside of the SPCW Sportatorium to perform the Texas Troubadour Theater, taking on Damian Wayne, and that's going to be a good old-fashioned fight. A good old-fashioned bar fight. The energy is always high in the Texas Troubadour Theater. I'm looking for my first victory there. And that Nashville crowd likes to remind me just exactly what the SPCW crowd and every crowd, no matter where I am, whether it's Texas, whether it's Virginia, whether it's North Carolina, Alabama, they all know. Shoop trains harder.
You also have a couple bookings in December, I believe, as well, don't you?
December, yes. I'm very busy. I'm going to keep going all the way into December. This one is one I'm very excited to officially announce. It's the first time I'll be putting anything other than a Instagram share story. D1, the home of training harder, actually where I am right now. Do you think I just talk about it? I'm doing it all day. I'm helping other people reach their goals. In D1 Art Valley, it's about time we brought wrestling back here. The last wrestling show that was on there was Bobby Eaton's appreciation night in 2019. Pile Driver Pro is going to be running a wrestling show here, and it's going to be tied to Toys for Tots. Devin Driscoll, the owner of D1 Art Valley, Toys for Tots. We got a great show lined up for that. Be in the main event. Matches will be announced soon, but that's going to be a heck of a night. Toys, donations are appreciated, but that is free admission. So I appreciate you. It's not often Knoxville, Tennessee is getting some high-level wrestling shows nowadays. So this is one that you want to be at if you are a wrestling fan in Knoxville or in East Tennessee. In a great venue where I train and work my butt off each and every day and push people to their limits each and every day. It's going to feel awesome that night.
You also have PWE, don't you? Pro Wrestling Entertainment coming up?
I keep listing off some of these places. They're all my favorite places to wrestle. All my favorite places to compete. Pro Wrestling Entertainment always brings the crowd, always brings the energy. I'm not sure who I'll be competing against there too, but Colby Carter, the new PWE champion, I've had my eyes on that title for a little while now. So whether it's him, whether it's one of the blockbusters, whether it's the 6'12" monster Ben Bishops who's blown up all over social media the last couple of years or last couple months, or that stupid Latin lover. If I need to remind him one more time, no mas bailamos.
Gustavo? You're talking about Gustavo that way?
Yes, I will continue to talk about Gustavo until he cuts the dancing crap.
And you, Mr. Briggs, where would you be, sir?
Well, my my booking list is nowhere near as extensive as Shoop's over here. That's just the truth. I'm Mr. SPCW. That's the way every show that I'm going to be there. The rest is to be announced. There's some things in the works, but the biggest one for me right now, personally, is Saturday night Battle at Burton 2. And I'll just go ahead really quickly and recap, the people that are going to be there. We have Connor Martin, Josh Strong, and Johnny Polk in a triple threat match. I don't need to go through all the accomplishments of all these men, but Johnny Polk has the most energy of anybody that I've ever seen. I've been in the ring with him several times. The guy's resilient. The guy will not quit. Connor Martin, extremely talented young man. Been in the ring with him too. Stronger than he looks, smarter than he looks, but he's got all the fire and intensity and passion of anybody. That's the reason that he's on the event. All these things are very authentic things that I'm saying. And Josh Strong hasn't been around for a little bit, but he has been active. He's an undersized guy by a lot of comparisons, but you want to talk about intensity. Shoop keeps talking about intensity. There's been very few people that have matched that in the ring with me. And this guy, even if he is 5'5" or whatever it is, there's nobody more intense than Josh. And then you got the Mega Destroyer, who has, like I said before, like Rebecca, forgotten more about wrestling than most people is ever going to learn. He is one of the best wrestlers that I have ever seen in my life. And even at his age, which is not very advanced, by the way, he's taking people to school. And KC Kazana, defending the East Tennessee Heavyweight Championship against him, is going to find that out. KC, we all know how I feel about KC. He's got on this podcast here and talked about how he's wanted to wrestle me several times, and I do appreciate that, even if I don't necessarily like him that much. But he's in there with Mega Destroyer. It's not about who I like. KC is extremely talented. I don't need to go through his pedigree. You've had him on here several times. And then you have Sam Street, young up-and-coming wrestler. And then you have Rebecca Lynn, who is still in the prime of her career. And there's a lot of people who haven't seen her wrestle when she left the business due to her knee. But she's been able to wrestle for years, and she's just chosen not to. But that doesn't mean she hasn't been training. So she is about to put a whooping on Sam Street, nothing like you've ever seen, but it is going to be a barn burner of a match. And then you have Crash Cassidy, one of the biggest big men. I mean, there's no way of putting how big this guy and how talented this guy is in there. He's something special, and you're going to see him. You're going to see guys like Von Miller, somebody who Shoop is very familiar with, very up and coming. He's going to be in the ring too. And then you have the Stu Crew, who, I mean, do we even really need to introduce them? Well, the best tag team in the Southeast. I mean, bar none. There's no debate about it. Against the 24-karat males, Jeff Conley and Evan Golden. Jeff Conley's been a utility man for a lot of places, but in my opinion, he needed to be a lot more than that. He's got the brain. He's got everything that you need to be at the top of the professional wrestling business. And now he's got the personality that maybe he didn't have years and years ago. But Jeff is great. And Evan Golden, really, do we even need to say anything about Evan Golden? I've said this a million times already. Evan is fantastic. Evan is one of the best young guys I've ever seen. Maybe a little bit of a airhead sometimes. I can't like him all the time. But I don't like anybody all the time. But Evan is there because Evan deserves to be there. And then finally, like we talked about earlier, Shoop, Marty, enough said. Going to tear the house down. Going to be one of the best matches that you've seen in a long, long time. And then, of course, we get to the main event. RT3 versus me for the SOM Heavyweight Championship and for bragging rights about whose town this is, even though I don't care if it's mine or not. I'm going to tear it down. So that's my baby. That's what I'm doing. And that's all I have my focus on right now. Battle at Burton 2 is going to be one of the best wrestling events around here in years, with special appearances by the person who trained me, the Iron Cross, somebody who's wrestled all over the place. Shoot, you can look him up if you would like to. WWE, WCW wrestler, been in the ring with Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Scott Steiner, all the greats. Been in the ring and tussled with all of them. And then you've got the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant. No introduction needed there. One of the most popular wrestlers ever, period. And one of the nicest guys, too. Boogie's always got a home anywhere he wants with me. Those are the special appearances. Meet and greet is at 6 o'clock, along with the doors opening. Ringside seats are $15, but you have to be at the door at 6 p.m. in order to get those. There are no advance tickets. So get there if you want to sit on the floor. After that, all admissions $10. I think it says there are kids 12 and under are $5. So everybody can come. Nobody has an excuse not to, because you're going to see what real wrestling is supposed to be on Saturday night. And then SPCW there for out on November 16th. Don't know who I'm wrestling yet, but I'm sure it's going to be a great match, because just like we've had here with Shoop and the rest of these guys, look at that card. Look at the people on there. Stacked. Just like Battle at Burton. Doesn't get any better than this.
Absolutely, guys. I cannot agree more. I'm really excited about SPCW 124, to be honest with you, especially with Davian Belcher making his return as well. Also, Tyler Shoop is going to be there defending that title against a mystery opponent, one that he will not release as of yet. So you guys definitely want to be a part of that.
You will know before next Saturday night. But as of right now, anyways, I'm going to keep that one tight to the chest.
Absolutely. And guys, you heard it here first on Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. My special guest, Dr. Joe Briggs, Tyler Shoop. Do you have any last words, either one of you, for anybody watching tonight?
Go ahead, Doc.
Oh, you're going to be nice to me now and let me say something first? Since I've done all the talking? No, champ. No. You're holding the belt. You go first. I'll go ahead and give you the respect of that. Go ahead. Say whatever you need to say.
All I've got to say is the chip on my shoulder is larger than it's ever been. For Joe Briggs to come on here and say that I've been handed everything my entire life, I don't got no chip on my shoulder, I don't not got nobody to prove wrong. Well, I do. And I got to prove you and to everybody else that I am as good as I say I am. And I'm going to do that when I beat you inside of a steel cage on Thanksgiving night.
Rebuttal, sir.
You haven't been handed everything. Misheard me, didn't you? Just like you always do. No, you haven't been handed everything. I've given you a lot of credit for the athlete and everything that you are. It takes a strong guy to be a D1 athlete, to go to college, to do all of those things. The only thing that you've been handed, in my opinion, or actually I know this to be a fact, just like a lot of other people, like RT3 and most other people like you guys have been handed this notion that you're better than I am. You're not. Not by a long shot. Yeah. You won that championship right there. So you were better than me one night. But every blind squirrel finds a nut. And 9 times out of 10, I always win. Congratulations on your one lucky break. Because this is it. Then you'll be handing that back to me. And that's going to be sweet.
Like I said, Joe, I will not be handing this back to you. Like I said, if you are taking this thing off my shoulder, if you think you have any plans of taking this thing off my shoulder, you're going to have to put me out with whatever the hell you got in your mind. But that ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen, Joe. No shot.
Okay.
No shot.
Be careful what you wish for, Mr. Shoop, because the Doctor of Destruction always is ready to dissect at any time with all the tools available that he has at his dispense. So you might want to watch yourself. And that's going to conclude our show tonight, guys. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. My special guest, Dr. Joe Briggs, Tyler Shoop. I want to thank both of you for being here, coming on and taking the time out to talk about your most recent upcoming events and discuss SPCW with me. And thank each and every one of you for being here tonight, Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver. And before we go, if you like what you see and you want to see more of it, definitely head on over to my Streamlabs store. That's www.streamlabs.com/Arabbidb3aver, just as it's spelled right there on the bottom of your screen, /merch, and catch you some Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver merch. Thank you all very much. Until next time, you all have a wonderful night.